Peace, family. Vicki Dillard for African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'd appreciate it if you would be sure to like the video, be sure to share and subscribe. That way other folks will know that we're here and you can help us expand our voice, as well as be sure to download our app for African Diaspora News Channel. I think you're going to love it. Thank you so very much. Family, if you follow my work here at all, you know that I do quite a bit of coverage on South Africa, of course, among other nations, of course, the geopolitical commentary that I do. But in particular, I have really had an emphasis on South Africa because I see the agenda against her in multiple ways and for multiple reasons. Well, The Economist is a news publication, a global news publication. I think it's in like 100 um, I want to say 100 different nations, but anyway, it has quite a reach in terms of the type of folk that read its publication, The Economist. It's considered to be in the mainstream world credible, but we always look side eye with any publication that's coming from mainstream media. They had the nerve to recently put up a headline, watch this, with a picture of Julius Malema. Is Julius Malema the most dangerous man in South Africa? Now, family, I always say this, media is warfare. The fact that they would even ask the question if he's the most dangerous man, even put that type of name out there, speaks volumes. That's an issue. And so I want you to listen to a little bit of what this piece says. I won't read you all of it, but basically it talks about how the ANC has been losing some of its support, and it's believed that they're going to dip below 50%, and they may need one of the other parties to make up a majority. And some believe that Julius Malema's party, the EFF, the Economic Freedom Fighters, might have to end up being one of the ones they have to make an alliance with, right? Well, watch this. The part that got me is, in addition to the things that they were different details of the article, which was kind of lengthy. It wasn't overly lengthy, but it was lengthy enough. Was saying about South Africa's elections and what the polls are showing and that sort of thing. One of the things it says in asking the question if he's the most dangerous man, it says, "This is the weapon that will be used against the enemy of our revolution," Mr. Malema declared in February 10th, brandishing the party's 265-page manifesto. The document is a wholehearted rejection of the rainbow nation that Nelson Mandela tried to forge. The political change over 1994 did not bring true liberation, as Mr. Malema writes in the manifesto. It was a bluff which continues to subject the black people to economic and social apartheid. Mr. Malema proposes sweeping changes to the economy. Y'all listen. These include land expropriation without compensation, the nationalization of mines and banks, again without compensation, and the introduction of basic income grants for the unemployed. It says, the article, these are curious proposals since everything the state already runs, such as Eskom, the power utility, is falling apart. It talks about how it's unclear how hard he would push the ANC man in South Africa. First of all, please know, whenever you listen to any geopolitical commentary coming from the United States or her Western allies, they speak in code. They're projecting. So whatever it is that they say about, is Julius Malema the most dangerous man in South Africa, they're really saying, is he the most dangerous man in South Africa for us? Our intentions to infiltrate Africa, to keep pimping Africa, to keep exploiting Africa. Does he serve as the most dangerous man? They're not worried about actual South Africans, and specifically the Black South Africans who have endured injustice and whose land and resources have been stolen. Listen to what they say. They're concerned about land expropriation without compensation. What are we worried about what's going on over there in South Africa for? We know there was an injustice. The Boers got land that did not belong to them. That's called theft. The notion of justice, giving it back to the owners, because the United States is used to stealing all the time. The West is used to stealing all the time. It is absolutely outrageous that someone would actually be talking about implementing a plan to do justice. They're also worried about, because they started talking about the nationalization of mines and banks. This is what this is about, family. That's why they're bringing it up. They're trying to see, does the West still have a chance to go there to pimp the banks and their natural resources? They're also concerned about the fact that South Africa's growing influence might inspire and give other African nations ideas about nationalizing their resources, which means that individual companies, transnational companies, can't just come there and pimp and do whatever they want with the resources because it would be owned by the people. Nationalization of those things are out of the question for the United States and the West. So please read through the code. Whenever they're trying to ask questions about whether or not something is going on in another country, America is projecting. So they're really trying to put a target on his head by calling him a dangerous man, which is a term that you would typically have in the realm of the criminal. That's them sounding the alarm to everybody that's reading the economists around the world, because the average person isn't reading that geopolitical commentary. Certain world thinkers and leaders and governments are who they're trying to tip off. They're trying to tip them off by saying, watch this, you know what. They're telling them in code, this you know what is dangerous. He's talking about nationalizing resources and banks. This is how the West keeps a stronghold over the countries and keep them enslaved, is what? Through banking and economics and their resources. They pimping them because they have land that doesn't belong to them. And he's actually talking about, in a serious way, distributing it back to who actually owns it. This is what the West in America considers to be dangerous. So you know I got to give our family the heads up, because the U.S. and her allies, because like I said, this is an international publication, is doing what they do best. Mess making and giving the alarm to other world leaders to watch him so that y'all can start planning and figuring out ways to obstruct. The news came out sometime before where President Ramaphosa did a press conference talking about that because of the case that they brought against Israel at the ICJ, that they've been mess making in the elections there. He's already told us that. We know that the opposition's biggest way of warfare is to divide and conquer and mess make. And while they're dividing and conquering those that serve as the greatest threats, they are identifying for the world to watch them. And also, by telling them to watch them, they want them to implement strategies and tactics to undermine them using global systems. Just want to warn our brothers and sisters. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it. My name is Vicki Dillard, beloved. Be sure to subscribe to my channel at vickydillard.tv. That's vickydillard.tv. I can't wait to see you again.